Welcome to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go, a look at modern and retro games with a dark sense of humor. Introducing your hosts, Steve.
Well, I'm a wreck now.
Harry.
Put it in my mouth.
Clark.
That man had one testicle and hit home runs, goddammit.
And Joe.
This went off the rails very quickly.
Let's start the show.
Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast. Go! Alrighty. This is great audio. I love it. That's a good one. All right, we got a new tradition now. It's gonna be terrible.
Wow.
All right. Well, we're going to get into some fun discussions tonight. But before those discussions, let's have a different discussion about our sponsor, Deep Creek Glassworks.
Deep Creek Glassworks!
Since 2013, Deep Creek Glassworks has been giving you handcrafted, durable works of art for you and your loved ones to enjoy. Do you like wearing cool glass that looks like cool things? Boom, got you covered. Do you like drinking beverages out of glasses made of glass? Boom, got you covered.
Man, glass is made of glass. Holy shit. Fucking hell.
Right. And what about glass stuff to put up on your mantle or on your
DiCaprio wasn't
holiday
ready for it.
tree?
I was really worried where that was going, where the glass was going up.
Nope. It's decoration.
Decoration, not for your anus.
Yep. Precisely. So, for that and more, you definitely need to check out deepcreekglassworks.com, work spelled W-O-R-X.
Today.
And when you do, be sure to use our promo code
Crush-resistant boxes.
Super Fun, so you get 10% off
I
of
wanna
your
see
first
that.
purchase, which, as Joe mentioned, comes in crush-resistant boxes.
For free.
Shipping. So yeah, check out Instagram, Etsy, Facebook, and their webpage, Deep Creek Glassworks, work spelled W-O-R-X. Today.
Today, Junior.
A little foghorn leghorn there. Dig it. All right. So tonight, in front of me, I have Clark.
I'm going to cut off your head now.
To my right, I have Harry.
Don't be sorry. Be better.
Across me also, I have Joe.
Please tell me that wheel was not in your mouth.
Ah, damn it.
Was it? I forgot about that part.
And I will be your host tonight, Steve. Zeus. Zeus, my father. Your father was Zeus? Well, that explains a lot. So, speaking of putting things in your mouth and some mythology, tonight we are reviewing God of War 2018.
2018.
The reimagining.
It's not a reimagining. It's a sequel.
Not really. Kind of. We'll get to
What?
that in development. Yeah. So, along with that, let's get into some initial impressions. So, Clark, start us off.
Well, I was under the initial impression that this was a sequel. Apparently, I'm wrong on that.
Not just initial. Apparently.
Yeah. I had this game when it came out. Played about up until like Alfheim, and then I started playing other games, and it got to my backlog, and then I wasn't continuing playing it, and I just stopped. And so when it came up for the podcast again, I was like, cool. Like, I'm totally diving back in.
Totally dumb.
He said it. It's recorded.
totally diving back in. And so I restarted the game. Didn't pick up from where I left off because that was a PS4 save, and I played it on PS5 now. So played it straight from the beginning again, and yeah,
Dig it.
was excited.
Nice.
Joe.
I like playing the God of War games. I never really want to play them though. I've played them all. I've enjoyed them all. The previous three, I was just like, man, I did not enjoy playing them though. Mm-hmm. I played them for the story. That's only what I ever did.
I thought 3 was enjoyable.
So I wasn't going to play this without any type of push because I was not interested in any of the combat previously. But I was like, I know the story is usually fantastic, so I'm in.
All right. Cool. Harry?
Well, I had a lot of mixed feelings, I think, getting into this one. I knew it was popular, and I knew it was a lot different than the previous ones that they've done. And this is actually like one of the top 2 games that I saw like just scrolling online, kind of like how that Resident Evil game was that we were playing, where it was just like all over. I don't know. At least on my like YouTube and Facebook and all
when
that.
we were playing Resident Evil 8, you mean it was like
it was
just happened to be all over your feed.
It was all over, over. But this game also was just all over the place.
They're listening.
I didn't ask to play. Having said that, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a highly regarded game if it's this popular. But I also didn't really care for the other God of War game that we played,
which is the first one.
Yeah,
The very
so I was like,
one.
it feels a lot like that. I'm going to be kind of pissed
these
off.
are drastically different games.
Yes, they are. They are. But I still had that bad taste in my mouth
Right, yeah.
from that game. So
Without knowing what you're getting into.
exactly.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I don't really like. I know there's some like diehard fans for the God of War series out there that like know all the little things. I know it was a big title. It's like a PlayStation title, but like I don't know really anything about it. So I kind of went in a bit on the blind side.
Same.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I'm not too far off from that either. I played the first games. I got enjoyment out of it, but I'm not like a diehard. I wasn't a diehard fan of the series where it's like, it's a casual play for me. It's not, I need to get into this.
Yeah.
So that's why it took almost 5 years for me to actually play this one. And just knowing how popular it was and hearing that it was different definitely piqued interest. So it has kind of been on my radar, and there wasn't too much of like a really push. It went to the back of my mind. And then I was browsing around the PlayStation store and I saw, hey, it's part of the collection. You can download it. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Okay, that's definitely good enough. And then that's also where it's like, cool, we don't all have to drop a bunch of money on a game to play for the podcast. So that was really, money was the deciding factor. Also, really wanted to check it out.
I just want to take a moment and thank all of our Patreons on that note.
Yeah. And then just seeing how much reverence Ragnarok was getting was another. It's like, okay, well, if this game still is holding up like the hype, let's check out the precursor to the latest title. So, yeah.
Cool.
All the beans.
All the beans. All the initial impressions.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's hunt down a magical blue deer, shoot an arrow at it, right into some development.
Game development.
Boggle.
So development began in 2014 by Santa Monica Studios, and it was announced that it will not be... So this is where it kind of comes in. It was announced that it wasn't going to be a prequel initially back in like 2014, because this was the first time there was an event called the PlayStation Experience. So the game was actually officially announced at the 2016 E3 convention, which had a gameplay demo of a bearded Kratos teaching his son how to hunt. So this is where it is a sequel, but it's not, because the creative director Cory Barlog left this game without a numeral or subtitle edition on the end of it, because in his mind this is a completely reimagined God of War. So technically, yes, it's a sequel because it takes place, I think I read 150 years after God of War 3. But at least the way he wanted it to be perceived was where we're going in kind of fresh.
Yeah, I think the way
it's not a free form hack and slash like the other ones were. This one's definitely more strategic and how you're going about.
Right.
So it makes sense, but it's definitely not like a reboot or anything.
No.
They reference the previous games the entire time.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it still follows along the story in a sense where it's not like it just disregards the first 3 games or anything that happened before. It was just
It's not a direct sequel. Like there's plenty of time
it's not God of
between.
War 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, actually, before settling on Norse mythology, Egyptian was also considered. And then just trying to find the way of like blending
How to tell a story.
right, and
Yeah.
blending it in from like Greek. It's like, all right, can you really go into Egyptian, or what can we follow? And Norse was like, yeah, this is
They were trying to do the Assassin's Creed.
right. Yeah,
Story
don't
arc,
do that.
yeah.
Don't do that.
I'm glad they didn't do that. Let's hope they don't do that the next trilogy.
Egypt.
There's still time for them to fuck that up.
Go to Egypt.
No, I just
You should go to Japan next. Feudal Japan.
Done.
That'd be dope.
What, for Assassin's Creed? Or
No,
for the
for God of
okay.
War.
God of War,
why
yeah.
would he come to Earth?
Huh?
Why would he come to Earth?
Welcome to Earth.
He's already on Earth.
All right, so the entire game was done in a single shot.
It's gonna be a long episode, guys.
Yeah, it is. So the entire game was done in a single shot, touting no loading screens and no fade to blacks. Now, obviously, if you traveled, like fast traveled, there was a short loading screen, but otherwise, that was something that they really wanted to do. 40
They didn't really do it.
40% of the team did not like this idea due to the extra work that would need to go into it to be done.
All they did
Really
was
long door animation.
Yeah, I mean, I know where the loadings were happening.
screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, let's lift up this pillar.
But it's
let's go to this interdimensional thing that for some reason you can't find the door until time passes.
you need some
An
conversation.
indiscriminate amount of time passes.
So yeah,
And then door.
Pre-canned dialogue finishes.
yeah. But at least that's it's still so at least more staying in, like you can, like the entire game can be a single action shot with like no other cuts in that sort.
I mean, you can call fucking, I don't know. It's not, but okay.
Okay. Well, it was at least with that, it was the first of its kind for a 3-dimensional AAA title.
Oh, that's gonna be great audio. Good job.
Yeah.
Gonna love it.
I saw it.
Yeah. It's visual too.
So, with the game being released in November of 2018, it was a smash hit, like right off the bat. It sold over 5 million units within a month of its release, and 23 million units sold by November 2022. So, in 4 years, it sold 23 million copies.
It was also a pack-in at one point
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that
for PS4. So that definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
I kind of wanted to say a couple things. I know this is a PlayStation title.
This is me in a nutshell.
It's your Man, I know I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this tonight, but I'm going to make some parallels in most of the categories tonight.
Okay.
This felt, at least until like the midpoint of the game, it felt a lot like I forget what the Aloy game.
Horizon.
Zero Dawn?
Thank
Gee, I
you.
wonder why.
I know. I'm just saying, like I got real parallel vibes, and I was even doing a comparison in my head for a while. Like this
Okay,
almost.
now add Uncharted into there. And how
Nah,
do you
I feel like Uncharted is its own thing. There was just a lot, and I'll keep touching on this as a theme tonight. Sorry, I just want to drop that now in development.
Sure. Does anybody have anything else for development?
Nope.
All right. Cool. Well, let's action attack a ghoul, rip its face in half, and jump on into some story.
Story.
Action attack?
Like when you can click R3.
Oh,
and it goes-
gotcha.
I just called it action attack because you're performing a different action. Our story begins with Kratos and his son Atreus laying to rest mother and wife Faye on a funeral pyre. On a
Man, you had to cut in. He could have just cut it.
on a funeral pyre. The two must journey out to honor her wishes of having her ashes spread at the highest peak of the 9 realms. The voyage begins with a battle ensuing between Kratos and an undying god, quote unquote, we will learn to be known as Baldur. After dispatching, or so we think, Balder, the duo venture out through Midgard, coming across the Witch of the Woods, who is well aware of who Kratos is. This is kept secret from Atreus for some time. After learning how to dispatch of the black mist that blocked their path by traveling to the realm Alfheim, I'm going to fuck them up, man.
Fuck them up. Fuck them up. Fuck them up.
The two continue...
Boy. Boy. Now.
Come to me, boy. The two continue on and come across two more gods named Modi and Magni, and a man named Mimir who is trapped within a tree. Mimir tells them that the highest peak is actually in Jornheim.
Jornheim.
Jotunheim.
Jotunheim. There is a T.
Jotunheim. Jotunheim.
Kratos beheads Mimir, at Mimir's request, to have the Witch of the Woods reanimate him, only to spill the beans that she is in fact Freya, the former queen of the Valkyries. Once back on their path, they are ambushed by the two gods. Kratos kills Magni, and Modi flees. Atreus falls ill, Freya cures him, and Kratos finally reveals to his son, they are gods. Then Atreus becomes a little ignorant shit, kills
Atreus. It's Atreus.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said Atreus twice. It's Atreus.
Dope. Yo, all you hardcores out there, fuck them up in the comments.
Yeah,
Fuck him up.
then it
Started off with, boy! Roast him.
Then Atreus becomes a little ignorant shit, kills Modi against his father's word, and then almost gets them both killed after another battle with Balder. Kids, am I right?
I'm waiting for him to call him Atreyu.
The two make amends soon after and find out, when in Helheim, that Balder is Freya's son. Soon they are attacked again by Balder, but the spell set on him by Freya is broken. A defeated Balder begins to strangle his mother until Kratos pulls a trick from Steven Seagal's book and snaps his neck. Freya speaks of vengeance. The two finally make it to Jotunheim, where they learn that fate...
Sounds like an epic poem at this point. Freya speaks of vengeance.
I'm trying, man. I'm having fun with it. So the two finally make it to Jotunheim, where they learn that Faye was actually a giant, and she wanted to name Atreus Loki. They finally complete their journey and spread the ashes, only to find the 3 years winter is beginning, which will lead to Ragnarok. And there is another special part of the story that we found out about a little late, but...
Let's just say it. Thor comes to exact vengeance for his fallen children.
Yeah, so if you actually go back to the
I
house...
actually didn't have time to go back and watch that, so yes, please explain.
I did, yeah. Okay, so after it's done, you walk down, you're back in Midgard and whatnot.
Yeah, you enter the room.
Yeah, so if you go back to your house and actually walk through the front door, Kratos and his son have like a little bit of a conversation, and they're like, let's get some rest. And then when they lay down, a video starts and it says years later. Mm-hmm. And then it's just lightning crashing through their home, loud banging, thunderous noises. Kratos says, get your bow, and they go outside, and there's just a cloaked figure just standing there. Mm-hmm. And Kratos screams, who are you? And then it's just like from like the side of the hip that the cloak comes back, and then there's the hammer. And
he's got Mjolnir holstered like a gun.
Yeah, nice. and just electricity moving between it and his hand, and then cuts, and then it goes to credits, and then you'll wake back up to like continue the game, and Atreus says, "I had a dream." And he's like, "We all dream." He's like, "No, this felt more real. This feels like it's our future."
I wonder if that's the beginning of Ragnarok.
I bet you they blend right into that.
Probably.
Because you were saying that too. You were
Yeah, I really think it's like
just picks up right there.
Yeah.
Like you wake up out of the bed as the first cutscene kind of thing.
Yeah, and I bet you they do a little thing. I bet you they're going to fast forward a little bit
Sure.
to make Atreus a little bit older. I haven't really looked at any of the gameplay.
I haven't looked at anything.
He
for
is
Ragnarok
older.
either.
Yeah, and
he is older.
that's what I thought. But I bet you at least the game starts and then they're like, oh, and several years later, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, even that end cutscene is supposed to be several years later.
Yeah, because it does say years later.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah, and then
so
after
it's probably going to open right back up with that.
Okay.
Yeah, and
It'll
then
might maybe show like a quick little montage of them like fixing up the house and like trying to restore that circle that they destroyed in the beginning to let all the gods know that they were there, and then
Yeah.
it's time.
They make it all weird where he's still climbing on his daddy's back.
Yeah, right.
Dad, why do I still have to do this?
You do what I say, boy.
Boy, come. Read this, because I am illiterate.
I've never been very nurturing, and this is the closest I've get. Just hug me, boy.
Why are your socks crusty?
It took so long for them to like actually hug or like have or Kratos to have any like
Yeah, and there's so many times where Kratos is like about to put his hand on his shoulder. He's like, oh, no, I'm not gonna do it.
no. This is where because Morgan watched me play a lot of this game, and
It's Morgan's Minute.
It's Morgan's Minute, and it's
Banana.
and it was like, oh, so it's basically Deadbeat Dad Simulator, and it's like.
He's not a deadbeat dad.
In the very beginning, she only really saw most of the beginning, and he was just like, because every time she was like watching me play, it was like, oh well, mother showed me this, mother showed me that, and it was all about the stuff that Faye taught him.
Yeah,
And then-
yeah. He was like out gallivanting around, basically.
So that's where that came in, and I'm like, I mean, kind of, yeah,
He went for cigarettes for a while.
yeah, he did.
Cigarettes and milk.
Oh man, yeah. Actually, because Harry did have a fun a synopsis of the story earlier, and I think we should.
It was accurate.
Harry's rendition as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Man with red face paint hates his child until he doesn't. I couldn't not bring that up again.
This is funny. Although I don't think it's face paint. I think he's like marked by the Greek gods.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It might have been explained in the first game
Think so.
when he
yeah.
sells his soul or whatever.
Yeah, I think
it's
that. I
part
think
of
it's
that.
I think that's like his brand, basically.
Yeah, I can't remember.
My brand.
My brand. Got
have my brand.
If I'm wrong, roast Steve in the comments.
Yeah.
Boy. This is a weird game. Kratos is voiced by Flavor Flav.
Just swinging a clock around.
I'd play that game.
Yeah,
There's a mod for it
Instead of
online
Levi in the
somewhere.
back,
I mean, it's on PC now, so like, yeah, there probably is a mod.
Yeah.
Atreus takes down an enemy and just boy. I'm
So-
here for it.
I'll kick off the conversation and story a bit.
No,
we
I'm just
kicked it off a while ago.
Well, this is kicked off the field then. So
throwing it back in play.
I was kind of up and down with this story. There were some points I was like, this game is great. Like when they had the whole reveal when he told him like that he was a god. Like,
Yeah.
And I thought I was like, oh, cool. What a cool
They
turning
can really
point.
pull you in emotionally at certain points.
For sure.
Yes.
Yes. Leading up to that, though, I was quite bored with the story. Like that was kind of the point where it kind of kicked it into gear a bit, where I was like, okay, now it's a little bit more interesting. 'Cause I was really struggling to get through like the first maybe quarter
Until
to
you get to
third of
Mimir.
this game.
Until you get to Mimir.
Kind of, yeah.
I 100% agree. When they were like, "There's 8 different realms you can go to," and after Alfheim,
It was daunting.
after Alfheim, I was just like, "Oh fuck." I was like, I really hope we do not have to go through all these fucking realms.
And some of them were shorter than.
Yeah, but yeah, some were just like, oh yeah, stop in and
45 minutes or whatever.
yeah, you're in and out. Hell, like Helheim, you're in
yeah.
it for 2 missions.
But continuing off of that, like up and down with the story, like immediately after he revealed his god, then they have that whole chapter where he's like a brat. And I was like, that was so like hard to
gods.
Yeah, I can do what I want.
Not only was it painful, like the dialogue, but it just like took me out of the story. I was like, I don't think this is a very natural reaction to him just learning this. No, the way that he was abused.
Wait till you have a kid, right?
Yeah, but when kids figure out that they can do something or they're able to do something, they just rub it in your fucking face.
I don't see it in this character. No, not the way he was brought up.
Not with Faye being his mom.
But not with Kratos being his dad. I just like he had more discipline. Not that he was, I don't know, but there was moments like that just like pulled me right back out of the story.
Yeah.
So I was up and down and back and forth on the story. So
Yeah, I turn around, flip around here. I'll just hop in there like dude. I kind of felt the same way. Like there was definitely some things that like spoke to like the father in me, and like that, like just like that there's some really good narrative on like the difficulties of fatherhood, especially if you're trying to be like the strong, stricter male in a child's life. Like, 'cause that's the kind of dad that I am. Quite honestly, I'm much more strict with my son than, just because that's just how I grew up. You know, like I was raised by someone that fought in World War II. Like, so like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. Like, I grew up strict.
I didn't think your mother was that old.
No, my grandfather. No, my grandfather. And so yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely like much more like nurture to me and my son's relationship. There's a lot more nurturing.
Well, you call your son by his name more often.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of just boy, it's like, oh, boy.
But like, there's definitely like some like that kind of like apprehension that Kratos has, like when he's gonna like touch like Atreus a few times, like no, like when he reaches out to like grab his shoulder,
Okay,
and that's not my shoulder. No, like that kind of stuff like actually like resonates with me, because that's him deciding, like, is this a nature or nurture moment? Do I need to actually be strict with him here so that he actually learns something, or can I nurture him to see if he understands the ill effects of what he's doing? And so like that kind of stuff actually like spoke to me in like a really like meaningful way. But that's probably just viewing it through. It's also objectively very, very funny. Like, all that stuff is very funny. It's just like, it just spoke to like the dad side of me.
Gotcha.
A little bit.
It just spoke to me, just heckling him on the couch. I'm like, you gonna do it? You gonna do? Oh no, not this time.
Yeah,
Maybe next time.
That's like that internal struggle though. Like, for real, is just like the nature versus nurture.
I mean, he does eventually start teaching him things, and then I did appreciate the part of the story where he kind of like started opening up more to him. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I think Atreus kind of did have to go through like that shock period of like, oh shit, I'm part god. But at the same time, I think they made him like a little too snotty, like, for just some of the things, like some of his actions that definitely, I think, would speak to like a struggle of him feeling like, well, I'm a god now, I can do what I want. But it's just the extra lippiness that came with it.
Yeah, the cocky attitude and shit.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure which is what they were going for, to be have me be like, I'm waiting for you to get the thing. It's like, I know you're in the next game, so you can't die. So, probably. So how are you going to learn by the end of this game? And I kept waiting for that. And then it started getting into like when they were going through like Tyr's vault, and they came across Tyr's like old treasures and whatnot. And he had all like the like the Greek artifacts and whatnot. And then where
he smashes that pot. He smashes that one pot that's an ode to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like he does end up trying, it's like, oh, this is the wine of like where I come from, and here you go, kid. Let's have a swig. But when he started like kind of like releasing a little bit more, then it's like, okay, I'm finally getting the feeling I've been waiting for since like the beginning of it, when Kratos is just being the way he is, and then kind of starts coming around a little bit to Atreus, and then Atreus goes down the dark path, so it's just kind of...
He's like, I was just coming in.
Yeah. I was just trying to open the door.
And then you have to be this?
But yeah, and then like the little like twists and turns along the way, I thought was, pretty neat.
I also thought that one moment was actually really powerful, where Atreus stabs Modi and kicks him off, and he's like acting like a brat, and instead of like Kratos like smacking him or something like that, he just grabs him by the shoulders and is like, look, he's like, this is how it is, and we actually need to be different, because you're being exactly like the things that we're hunting down, and trust me, I've killed a lot of gods, especially a lot of gods like that. And he's like, don't be that kind of god, we can be different.
And then Atreus shoots him with arrows like a little bit further in the game.
Yeah.
It's just like, suddenly I was like, the fuck?
Every fucking kid challenges their parents.
Yeah,
Every kid challenges their parents like that.
Don't be teaching your son archery.
No.
No, but I mean, it was like I was happy with the way that went.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys said a lot. It was a lot. It was a really good story. I enjoyed it a lot.
I like Mimir's stories.
Yeah, I think like Harry said, like until you get to Mimir, man, it was a fucking drag. Like,
Yeah.
It was like, oh god, I was not looking forward to the rest of the game once I finished that first realm and all of that until I got Mimir, and I was like, okay, it's kind of moving now. We're getting through this.
We got our comic relief.
He filled in the gaps, and he really just made the story overall much more entertaining.
So the other part that happened at a similar time is beating Brock and Sidri.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then actually having them
Because like
reunite.
yeah, so their banter was like in the beginning to me, I was just like, this is ridiculous.
Every time you see one of them, did my brother touch that? Let me fix it for you.
Yeah, I was like, oh god,
Like, cool, I'll take the free upgrades.
like,
Thanks.
it was like I saw the first, I saw Brock and then I saw Sidri and then I went to see Brock again, I saw him and I was like, are we gonna do this the whole game? Like I was just like, the banter is cheesy, like blah blah blah, and then it actually fucking clicked and it just grew on me immediately.
Yeah.
Sindri's fucking hilarious.
And it was immediately hilarious.
yeah.
I thought they were brothers for the longest time. I thought they had mentioned something early on that they were brothers.
I thought
They are brothers.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they are.
They are brothers.
It almost looked like they're a couple
No.
at the end of the game.
No, they're brothers.
No,
That's why I said, did my brother touch that?
Yeah.
They're brothers.
Yeah.
It's like even I think that there was even like
I don't think gay dudes call each other brother.
not unless you're in Alabama.
I don't know.
It's something out there for everybody.
But
Fair enough. Fair enough, Joe.
whatever floats your boat, man.
Buoyancy. Buoyancy is the only thing that floats my boat.
Fire in the sails floats my boat.
I see what you
This is a
did.
hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Old Viking ship.
Hot air balloon. It's why not both?
It sucks.
Let's talk about that gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Come play this
No.
game.
I love Sindri's lines and just make him so it's like, did you the voice actor?
Yeah.
I mean, that should be in like audio, but the voice actor made him like kind of
Yeah. His
Really
like gorephobia or
He was,
whatever.
he was so disgusted by everything that was like even remotely yucky.
Dude, I completely forgot about your opening quote. And
The
when you
wheel?
said, about the wheel. Ew, don't tell me that wasn't in your mouth.
Tell me that wasn't your.
It was so big. It was like a 24-inch wheel.
and like anytime he touched the Leviathan axe, he'd hold it by like the absolute end of the handle, and
Yeah,
he was like
yeah.
struggling to carry it. He's like his little weakling arms. He's like,
I'm just gonna set this down here, and then just like jump back.
yeah, and he just throws it, jumps back, like
Did find it towards the end, like further down in the game, when he's just like puking. I forget. You bring him something, it just makes him absolutely sick. I think it was the eye.
Oh yeah.
You brought it the eye,
yeah.
and he's like, "Is that a? Oh God!
Oh God, is that an? We just need you to pop it back in there.
Don't they have to leave Mimir with him at one point?
Yeah,
too?
Yeah.
they toss him the head.
They're like,
I could do this.
What are we gonna
I
do?
can do this.
They're,
I can't do this. Drops him.
they're like, what are we gonna figure out for you? And I'm just like, what are they gonna do to him while we're gone? It's like he's gonna come back and just have like an armored helmet you're swinging him around like from.
I thought they were going to build him a body.
Like, yeah, like, really? A robot? Like I was fully expecting like Robo Mimir,
Steampunk
boss.
Mimir.
I legitimately thought that's what I was coming back to.
They have given me a body, and I've decided to kill you.
But yeah, I think you really only got a lot of like the back end of the story being in like a brand new land was from Mimir, like when you're rowing the boat, and he's talking about Freya's marriage to Odin, and then the children, and then the story between. And it's like, okay, now I actually get like perspective of where this stuff's
He's
at.
explaining the conversation when Baldur's in hell and all of that shit. Like,
Yeah.
to give you extra context.
Yeah, I feel like they had to put something like that in there because otherwise you're coming into like a completely different like mythology and then just making their own out of something new. Yeah.
I do like the idea that he doesn't know anything about the mythos, though. Like Kratos himself.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't know anything because he didn't grow up there. He's not from there. He didn't learn the different gods. He doesn't know anything that's going on. And I think that gives them lots of paths to make interesting narrative choices.
Yeah.
Like Mimir. Like, if Kratos knew everything already, Mimir would be a completely pointless character.
Right.
But the fact that he doesn't know anything and he's raising a child who only knows like the child side of Norse mythology, having, an ancient god basically attached at his hip is awesome.
Yeah.
Mimir's like probably my favorite character, honestly.
I would agree with that. I mean, I think you're going to get a lot of votes for Mimir for best in show.
Nice.
And I guess really the only other thing I would just want to bring up is more of the ending, like when they get to Jotunheim. I called it.
Tell your wife to Jotunheim.
And then
What?
who knows? And Atreus kind of seems like, oh, this is our story, and then Kratos, no, this is your story, and then you find out a little bit more about like Faye and kind of who she was, and then learn that all right, well now you're part god, part giant, so that's a thing now.
Was she a character that was in the previous God of War games?
No.
So this is just the in-between
Yeah.
wife that we never get to see.
Yeah, he's like since
Yeah,
doing
you never get to see her,
since doing what he did in God of War 3, then at some point he met her, and then that's where that's at. Because when that opened up, I'm like, did I forget something in 3? I don't remember any of this. And then where like when the tapestry like fluttered back, and then it showed him holding like Kratos on the ground. Like, okay,
basically dead and like a bunch of lightning around everywhere. It looked like Thor, basically.
probably.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw that. I'm like, all right, that's the next game. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
Go to
Wouldn't be the first time Kratos has died in a God of War game.
Yeah.
He did, well, technically twice in the first 3 games.
Did you guys do much of the... I don't know if we want to talk about side quest stuff.
I didn't do any of the side stuff. I stuck to the main story in this. I intend to maybe go back and do some of that stuff, but at this point I am more setting my eyes on Ragnarok.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. I assume you did, Steve.
I did a shit ton of them.
Okay, so describe the story then, because I didn't do any either, and I'm assuming, Harry, you didn't. Okay.
So I mean,
story time with Steve and side quest. Side quest Steve. You find him on a corner.
Side quest Steve.
You find him on a corner.
This is my new intro song. I love it.
Sometimes it is going to bore you. Side quest Steve.
Living on a corner.
Find him on a corner.
I don't want
Steve's always doing side quests.
Real quick, something that I did read about the side quests is someone was just talking about all of the side quests in general, and they were like, it's basically 50-50 on whether it's actually worth it or not to do them. Like, some give you a great upgrade, some of them give you, like, nothing, and it's completely pointless to do.
Yeah, it was kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Some of them were, a lot more lucrative than others, but
Right.
I mean, I just,
How was the story part of it, though?
it wasn't too bad because you got to learn a little bit more about like the world serpent.
Okay.
It was referenced a lot more, so I mean, you still got pretty much the whole gist from the game itself.
Sure.
But it's extra little tidbits because I like
Little nuggets here and there.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, some of the random ones are like a lot of them you come across like a trap spirit on a beach or just somewhere.
I saw him. I cleared one of his things.
Yeah, there's a few of them around, and then it's just different, or it's just kind of a pain. They're kind of like a fetch quest, but there's not too many of those. Others are okay. There's like certain, like the one guy who was like on one of the beaches just as you docked off on an island in the corner. He was a captain, and he led his shipmates and their boat. Like was attacked or it shipwrecked them, and they're still trapped here to whatnot. So you have to go to like 3 different locations, and it's usually more of battle to kind of like build up for stats and whatnot. I mean, that was really like a big driving point of me playing a lot of those too, was because I had got started on this so early. I'm like, I can take my time with it and just bulk them up. So some would be for that. Some may just have like a special boss where they're like 4 levels ahead of you. So I mean, some of the treasure hunting too was neat. And because
did you do any of Sindri's?
Yeah, Sindri and Brock's quest.
Yeah, like their favors, the dwarven favors.
Yeah, so a lot of theirs was so you could get better gear. And then
that's kind of what I was curious about.
Yeah.
Like, was
That
the
makes
gear
sense.
any good?
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
was it
it's
just the stuff
start-
you could craft, but I just never had mats for anyway?
I wouldn't really necessarily know because I could basically craft everything.
Okay.
So
There was a lot of shit where I could.
Did you do any of the Valkyries?
I was able to defeat 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think I did 1 or 2.
Okay.
They are fucking tough.
Yeah.
I did one just to say
that
I
first
did
one I
it.
came across, I tried for like an hour.
Did you
and
do
I
it
was
in the
like,
mine? The one in the mine?
No, it was in what's the fucking rotating room called? When I went back to Midgard, and then I ran across the bridge,
Oh, okay.
and it was
Okay.
in that room
Gotcha.
when I went to go back up the mountain the first time. Well, the second time I went up the mountain, essentially.
I remember watching a video and people were talking about like the hardest bosses in games, and like it was basically dominated by like a bunch of Dark Souls bosses, but the Valkyrie from Helheim is like in the top 10 all-time hardest bosses in any game.
I tried her. That didn't.
Yeah, no,
didn't go up.
No, because Helheim didn't really have a whole lot. So I'm like, I can 100 complete an area, and one of the completions is defeating her.
Yeah.
and that wasn't happening. I think I put a solid like hour and a half, 2 hours just trying to get her. I'm like,
Damn.
I can't, because I would keep getting close. Not
Last
close.
20% or whatever, and you're
Probably
like,
like
fuck something up.
25
They
to
tend
30,
to
but
kick it up a gear when you get them down to low.
Oh, they
health.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my experience.
Typical game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that I fought, I forget which one I defeated, but the one that was in the mines, I was like, that was the first one that I actually found, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go someplace else and fight one, just because I feel like because the mines are so late in the game, maybe it's harder. It was a little bit easier going. I think it was like Alfheim. It was like one of the first 2 realms that that you go to that I fought, but the one in the mines, like. I'm about to beat the game basically, and she one-shotted me, and I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, after I tried that first one for an hour, I didn't even fucking interact with another. I was like, they're all gonna be like this. I know that now,
Yeah.
right? And I spent an hour here. Ain't nobody got time for that.
There's definitely a few easier ones, but a vast majority of them are like 1 or 2 hits, you're dead.
I knew the game was kind of open after the game, though, so I was like, if I actually want to do this after I finish it, they'll be here.
Yeah.
Hamill has the platinum. Hamill beat everything.
That
in this
doesn't
game.
surprise me. There was a
crazy.
moment where I was like, I was doing really well right before I found out about the Valkyries, and I was like, I think I could like 100% this game. Maybe it's like I might be able to do that. And then that popped up. I'm like,
I think we're crossing into gameplay.
We've been in gameplay for like 10 minutes. I looked at
Yeah,
it.
basically.
Gameplay.
but yeah. And then it was basically playing to level up and treasure hunting for the like higher health bar, higher rage and stuff. Even though I didn't use rage like too often.
No.
My meter
Really?
was full.
Oh, I
My meter
loved it.
was full. My meter was full a lot until it's like I got into like desperate mode.
I used it when there was like 5 or 6 mobs or more that I had to like, and it was like they were still coming.
yeah.
That was like the only time I used it.
For me, it was anytime I was at 25% health. Because I would just smack that, get up to 75% health,
okay.
and then just start beating the shit out of everything.
I played on casual, so that wasn't a problem.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I played on whatever the
Normal.
standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I died quite a few times playing this game.
Yeah, I died a few times too, and then
Outside of the Valkyrie thing, I think I might have died like 6 times. So here's the thing, right? So my initial impression was I was not looking forward to going into this game, and I figured out why in this game,
okay.
right?
Okay.
the Chaos Blades.
Oh, okay.
I do not like the Chaos Blades.
Oh, they're better than the axe.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Fuck that. It's fucking cheese mode. The fucking axe.
Cheese mode.
Dude, up until I got the Chaos Blades, I
Plays
played
the guy who plays casual.
You're not wrong.
Cheese mode.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So I preferred.
I played the mode where you actually had to switch back and forth between the weapons mid-fight because
I had
things
to do
were
that.
immune to
Yeah,
different things.
No, that was still a thing. But the axe throw was fucking sick.
Yeah,
They did
it was
really
great.
good job with it.
That helped out because there was a few times for like the how there were those like tall pillars like when you're rowing around the lake that you can like act. I don't know if any of you guys went up on one and try to activate like the little mist thing that was up on there. And
It's been Greek to me. All
right.
Norse.
Yeah. Fucking Mars attacks over here. So if you go up to the side of one of those, there's like you can take a lift platform up, and then it's a battle for like a crafting piece, and it's like an enemy that's like 4 or 5 times higher than you. So it's like you are just like pinging away just little by little. The axe fucking came in handy for that, where I'm just sitting back and just keep throwing because at least you can keep some distance with it. And like the chain blades were helpful for it, but some of them was just like we need a little more
need some
space
distance here.
between the two of us.
Yeah.
But I did think that was a really cool moment because I didn't see any like videos or anything from this game, so I'm like I'm surprised we don't see them. And then they're like, oh, this axe isn't effective in this world. I'm just like, all right, they're coming now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kept just like grabbing his wrists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like
The bandages?
Oh man, they're coming back.
Yeah.
I was like they're coming back, baby. I know they're coming back.
I wasn't looking forward to it.
I was super
I
excited.
maxed out the
they're
entire
the better
throwing
weapon.
tree.
Yeah.
I maxed out the entire throwing tree, and then I didn't really do anything with the Chaos Blades or the shield.
The shield was actually pretty cool too.
Yeah, the shield was great.
I might have used it 3 times.
It was like his quickest attacking. Like
I
the
had
bear.
all 3 maxed, including Atreus, but I didn't have the Chaos Blades.
Tier 5.
Tier
right?
5, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to unlock
I'm annoyed
it.
that didn't happen naturally in the story.
Yeah.
It's probably at the end of the dwarven thing. That's the only thing I can think of.
I'm trying to think. I don't think no
Basically
because I still have yet to upgrade mine, and I did all the dwarven ones.
Oh.
What I think
It's got to be something then.
I think part of it is because there's the 2 other realms that
You
you
think
go
it's in there somewhere?
that you go through because there's
I don't like that.
I started doing one of them like the Mustaf helm or Mustaf
Yeah,
helm?
it's
yeah.
Nilfhelm and Mufthelm or whatever is
Muffstown.
Diving down.
But
you can only
Not even
unlock
close,
you can
no.
only unlock those by finding enough codexes
the ciphers
to be able to read them basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
to,
be able to
get
decipher
there.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the one is Moose Helm
Yeah.
is basically
Muff Diver Helm.
Muff Diver Helm is basically just like a giant volcano realm, and you have to like basically do waves on your way up, and then you can get special armor and such. So I'm almost thinking because you need like a frozen heart or frozen flame for the axe and something else. So I think it might have something to do with that. But I'm not sure because Niflheim is basically overrun with just noxious gases. Mm-hmm. So you'll start up on a higher...
With the plants or something different?
No, not the plants. So this is completely different. So
Okay.
like you'll start on a higher plane and you're all good. And then you go into like kind of this mist area, which is only like chest high basically.
Yeah.
And your life starts, and like this meter starts ticking away a little bit, little by little, which is basically your consciousness. You can only stay in it for so long. If you run an open chest, the meter might go up a little bit more. Don't think if you defeated an enemy, it goes up maybe just like a smidge, but it's mostly find treasure, and there's treasure all over the place. And at least that realm is for, like, you can get other special armors. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of the upgrades is in there. I'm not sure. But that's basically those other two like optional realms. I didn't completely get through both of them, but at least for Niflheim, I got to like the main area of it, and then it's basically okay. This is just get points, level up for other things. That's basically because you have to like get so many
Go
like
grind a little bit.
that realm's like artifact or like item to find, and then if you get so much of them, you can go and unlock like one of those black mist things to fight like the super enemy that I was talking about earlier. So I mean you're not missing much in there unless you just want all the shit.
Yeah, basically when I was curious because like Hamill like 100% at this, and he always like spoke about it very highly, so I was like having conversations with him about it, and he was saying that like you basically need to complete all of the game and then tackle the Valkyries because it's the only way that you have enough gear to really stand a chance at beating a lot of them.
I believe that.
So I thought that was interesting. They kind of made like here's the just the extra high tier, high end things because you don't really get anything from killing the Valkyries. They don't really give you much. They give you materials to make other stuff, but it's not anything that you need because you can get all gold gear from apparently doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
I did opt to always get strength up equipment. Like that was always the stat I was trying to push.
Your main one, yeah.
Like over defense or
Runic.
Vitality or Runic or any of
I like
it.
cooldown.
yeah, cooldown was good.
Cooldown was fun.
Cooldown
I
was
didn't think
my
that
second.
cooldown was that bad on the abilities base though.
Yeah, but you could. It was like if you stacked it, it was fast.
I
Like
did.
you could almost exclusively use those skills.
I would do runic and cooldown, and for the chaos blades,
What
when
was
you
runic boosting?
your runic attacks.
So like because like with the
The-
runic
oh,
skills,
L1,
special
L1,
attacks.
R1,
Oh yeah.
L1,
So
yeah.
like the damage output on those or
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it would boost the hell out of them.
Okay.
but
Yeah.
like I went from
because they're like magic based in
Yeah.
quotations.
yeah
Okay. Got
yeah.
Yeah, because they're the runes you have to equip to have that skill, right? Because you can only equip 2 at a time.
it. Yeah.
I truly felt like I was playing like God of War 3 again because I would just like unleash one of the runic attacks eventually at one point, and I would just be clearing entire fucking rooms of
Oh,
like
yeah.
enemies with the one runic attack. Like it was just insane. And I was like, all right, cool. This is
Is
helping.
that the one where you did this like huge block of ice or something? Is that one
No, I was
a
doing
pretty
it with
big
the chaos,
AoE?
I was doing it with the chaos blades
Okay.
because he would just swing them around like fucking mad and just destroy everything. It was fucking great.
My favorite one was the one axe throw one where he throws it and it kind of spins in place on an enemy and grinds.
Oh yeah,
And then you can run up while it's doing it and do melee
Yeah.
on top of it.
That melee came in handy a lot.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry did that one first though.
I don't give a shit.
So what, dude?
Just saying.
What does that matter?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
God of War did it all before
Did
Devil
it?
May Cry.
Yeah, I don't think
The
they did
first
that,
place
though.
you saw it was Devil May Cry.
Boom, roasted.
Yeah. Games copy games. That's how they fucking
Yeah,
make
basically.
games.
But yeah, I would find myself accidentally doing melee because I forgot to retract the axe from something else, and then
Yeah.
which wasn't always bad because after you hit him enough times, then that like the ender attack or like the special, like when you click R3, just pops up and it's like, all right, cool, I can just like start literally ripping guys in half instead of trying to like hack away at some of them anyway.
Did you have the skill that when you pressed the melee, the first time you pressed it, it automatically called the axe if you didn't have it?
Yes, I believe so.
That was fucking sick.
Yeah.
And there was another one where you could throw the axe, and then when you recalled it, if you like threw it again within a certain amount of time, it would do like bonus damage the second time
The
around.
explosion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Dude, I loved the axe.
the axe was good. I had a lot of fun with
The axe made this game worthy for me.
it. I used the ice beam a lot because it would hold some like the other stronger enemies, and at least that way, again, if it's like one of those where it's like I'm going to need distance on this one, it basically clears like the entire way and makes it so easy.
Nice.
I did like how they incorporated the Spartan Rage into the story, where it was like an interactive thing instead of having like a grotesque amount of action events.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like that was like something that always happened in all the God of Wars, where it was just like, oh, you have to just button mash until you rip this fucking thing's skull in half, and like, thank God they didn't do that in this game.
Yeah.
There was
just did
some
it on
button
doors and
mashing,
stuff.
but like, yeah, it wasn't nearly as bad.
It was a lot more manageable.
I'm glad there was
Yeah.
no loading screens though.
I was so salty over that.
Every time you press the circle button, it just dedicates like 30 more gigabytes of or 30 more megabytes of RAM to the
Yeah, it's just like
to the loading.
you're pressing circle and you're like load. That's the load button.
Yeah.
No, Joe, I'm lifting a rock. And I am
That you can't see around at all. Right.
Yeah, because they zoom in real
it's not
close.
loaded.
Because you got to look at Kratos' biceps, man.
Yeah,
I am flipping a realm over, Joe.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a good loading scene. But yeah, like just but yeah, like where you like break out in like the Spartan rage different times. I thought it was like really impactful when it was like mid battle.
Yeah.
Like where they were like prompting you, like with the Baldur fight, where like Baldur's just like holding on to you. And I was just like, man, Kratos is just kind of like taking it like a bitch. And there's just like, oh, click on Spartan Rage. I was like, dope. Just beating the shit out of
Need to go
Baldur.
into that scene with no Spartan rage.
You get it anyway. It's they're automatic ones. There's
I was waiting to see if Atreus was
Spartan rage.
Yeah, if there was
Yeah.
going to be something, because he started like there was like the couple scenes where you start seeing like it like some shit
did
glowing
something
on.
at some
He was
point.
like glowing blue at some point, or
Yeah.
something was going on around there. I'm like,
And nobody ever came back to
I
that.
mean, if we're being completely honest, and they're going to make him Loki in Norse mythology, Kratos isn't his dad.
yeah, that's what I was wondering when they said his name at the end. I'm like, okay. And then are we going to find out like
They're going to reveal
fucking cheated on
Kratos
him.
isn't his father. Is that going to be a thing?
They could.
it's going to turn into Odin being like, I fucked your wife. Oh, that's my son. That's not really my son because I'm not really your dad. But
I
still...
am my own grandpa.
Too many cooks.
So wait, probably. But I mean, I was wondering if we were going to see like what his skill, because he was like, "What's my ability?" and he was bringing attention to it.
Yeah.
Sorry, was I too far playing
No,
to
you're good.
footsies?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. His interest in daggers is funny because that's kind of like how Loki is actually seen, since he's like the Lord of Trick. He's like the Lord Trickster, basically.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I could totally. And I have not played Ragnarok, and I'm sorry if this is a spoiler. If you've played Ragnarok and you're listening to it,
Yeah. No, but we have no knowledge.
It's not a
going into
spoiler
it.
because we haven't.
That's
Yeah,
true.
right?
It's a total guess.
So my guess is at some point it's going to be revealed that Atreus is not Kratos' son, but he's going to be like, oh well, like I raised him, so fuck you. He's my kid.
Yeah. That's
So
what
he's not going to be father. He's going to be stepdad.
Now, he can still be. You can still be dad and not be a father.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just like you can be a father and not be a dad.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very true. But he, it would give him reason to really honestly like go after Odin.
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So we'll find out. Yeah.
Oh, she a sleepy hoe.
You never.
Because I mean,
you never know.
like in Norse mythology, like Loki is the son of Odin and a giant, an ice giant.
Yeah.
That's what Loki is, and Loki is technically like a frost giant, and that's why I kind of thought the blue glow was interesting. I was like, oh, is he like doing a frost power? Like, is he going to be a frost giant?
All right. We'll have to see. And we'll check that out on the next God of War gameplay.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm basically just waiting for Ragnarok to go on sale. I'll pick it up for $30 or less.
There you go.
Was that your review of the game? Get it on sale?
No,
That's
it's
his
not.
review already. He's like, I can also... No, the ironic thing is, like, Clark will love it so much. He's like, I'm going to wait for this to go on sale, and then once he gets it, it's like, it's a buy. Just go buy it. Which it will be on sale.
Yeah,
at
that's
that
that's
point,
that's
but-
how
yeah.
that's how my rating system works.
Yeah, we know. I mean, I don't really know about much else other of gameplay. I mean, like
So-
platforming. Oh, sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I was going to mention the platforming. I mentioned it during Harry's initial impression because he brought up the Horizon
Initial
thing.
impression.
Yeah, exactly.
Initial impression.
And then I brought up Drake's, right?
I mean, that rapper. That never mind.
Uncharted Drake's of Fortune. You know what I mean. And so
One's never mind.
yeah, well, it's not even.
There's not a character in a wheelchair in this. Degrassi.
So, anyways, the climbing
Drake
is
from
where
Degrassi.
the cues that I picked up on, right?
Okay.
And I was like, man, PlayStation Studios really loves putting yellow on climbing shit.
They want you to know it's there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And I was just like, oh, okay.
I didn't even pick up on that, but you're right. Yeah.
like,
It's a common color
This is
for them
their
to
thing,
use,
right?
yeah.
and the climbing felt very similar too. Like, okay, Atreus was on my back, but like, it was pretty much the same. Some different camera angles, but the controls.
I feel like Uncharted's climbing is the best of the three, but this felt more like Horizon's climbing, where it was very robotic. Just like, yep. You can just hold one direction and you go.
Yeah.
Whereas like Uncharted, you have
Until
to
you
actually
can't.
kind of like pick your path and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Pivot around. This was just kind of like a wider range of camera angle that you could be on, rather than like Uncharted. You're like a
Yeah.
little more precision with it.
Yeah, well, also Uncharted would always change the camera angle to make you see and feel the actual like height of the thing, whereas
Yeah.
this was just like you're climbing on a wall.
Yeah. I
Nothing's
can't
loading
see it.
because
Let
we're
me
loading
just,
the
like-
next area. Like, fucking, they're tricks. All their goddamn tricks. Let's get real close in on Kratos' butt here. We got to load a big area.
We already are.
But
Nice.
got it.
Fucking nailed him.
Fucking got him.
Got him.
Fucking got a
Oh, I kept waiting for Kratos to like sit on Mimir's head. Like every time, I was like hyper aware of wherever Mimir's head was. Anytime Kratos was like getting into the boat, I was like, "Oh, did he move the head?" I'm like waiting for him to like sit on it or just like
He
do
does.
something that. Yeah,
No, he does. So, in that secret ending, when they walk into the house, Atreus goes to his bed and Kratos says, "Now let's go to rest." And Mimir is still on Kratos's hip, and you just see him like lay down, and I'm
How many S's did you throw in there?
about 7.5, 7.5,
same as many as crush resistant boxes.
and one Z just to mix it up a little bit. Kratos never removes Mimir, and he just like sits down on the bed and then just rolls back, just like going to sleep. And I'm like, he just crushed the head. I literally said out loud, I'm like, he just crushed the head. It's done.
interesting.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Interesting.
yeah. And then when the scene opened back up, no head. I'm just kidding. I didn't pay attention to that. I didn't
But
care
yeah-
by that point.
But yeah,
wasn't
like
there either.
all the times like jumping in water and stuff, they were very careful for him to be like, oh, like pick it up, or
Yeah.
he would like enter water that was like only knee height and it wouldn't be like drowning Mimir.
Yeah.
Except for that one part where Mimir almost drowns. Yeah.
Well, he says, like, as you're sinking down, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I don't know if I can drown. I guess we're going to fight.
Yeah, that was really funny.
But I think he comes out of it saying something along the lines like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't drown or something.
Yeah,
Like
now
that.
I know I can't drown. Like, yeah, fun stuff.
God bless Mimir.
Sorry, back to the climbing, though.
Yeah.
Again. Now, I know it is a different type of game, like combat-wise, but there were a lot of control. It felt very similar to, like, when we played, like, Forbidden West.
Yeah, totally.
I just got that same vibe. And I know it's a different pace.
The axe throwing felt very similar to the bow.
Yes. Yes. And yes, but there is a slightly different pace to the combat. This is a little bit more arcadey, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This is much more linear of a game.
Yes.
Than
true, but a
Horizon.
lot of the feels like there were.
yeah, it's that static over the shoulder.
yeah,
They're both over the shoulder games, which is different because it used to be like a third person action game is what God of War was, and now it's really just an over the shoulder. They're both clones of Resident Evil 4, basically. Like, it's got that over the shoulder fixed camera. It doesn't stray away from their shoulder much unless you're doing something else in the environment.
Resident Evil 4, wouldn't have expected you to go there. There's a lot of places to reach for that similar. It just
I
wasn't.
think it's probably one of the most prolific.
Okay.
I mean, just I did like the open world feel, because that's just that shit I like. I did not know it was open world, so that was actually a pleasant surprise. Like, again, I did like no research on it. I'm just like, okay, I've heard good things. Let's just give it a shot.
The open worldness feels very hidden then, though.
It's definitely open world, but the places that you can go become linear very quickly.
It's like, well, because then it's more about then, okay, I went to this realm for a mission, then came back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd argue against it being open world. Like, you can choose your destination, but I feel like the only place you can explore on...
I mean, Horizon's the same way. It's the exact same thing.
No, it is not.
You can't do the story out of order.
No, I'm not talking about
Horizon.
like the story, but like you can move in like almost different directions, like north, south, east, west. This is like you have the lake area, but outside of that, you're on a fixed tunneled path, I feel. There's no like huge area to explore and then open a door. There's another huge area. Like I feel like you get tunneled into areas.
Well, I think that's also where it's not one giant map because it's split up. But you can within some of those. Now, some of them are kind of small. But let's just take Midgard. It's like my objective was to like move as many clouds on that map that I can. And I feel like I had to cover a lot of fucking territory to move all those clouds out because like there's some where it will kind of take you in an area, but you can find another path to go further and find like other nooks and crannies, which will start opening up some more things.
Yeah, like you're saying like, oh, there's like the lake area, but like the lake area and like all of the beginning stuff is all
like
on the bottom here.
There's a bunch of rivers and shit like that.
If you accept some of the side missions, you're going up here above the lake. Like there's that whole area is huge. And you can just start going and doing side missions. It is like Horizon. It's just the whole idea of the gate jumping is how they change going through the gates in Horizon, where you're going from one area to another as you're going through the different gates. Instead of fast traveling, they just use a gate system.
Yeah, instead of having a tree.
Right.
I don't know. I got a lot of like Final Fantasy 13 vibes just kind of going down the hallway through a good chunk of this game.
No, I don't have a reference to that one.
No.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Didn't play it. Heard it was terrible.
No, it's good. A lot of people hated it at the time, though.
That's basically why I never played it.
We didn't really talk about Atreus' skills at all. Did you guys use him like a lot?
Yeah.
Did you forget he was there sometimes, not really use him, and you were like, oh, fuck, I should...
I only ever used him for his bow, like just like in mid combat. Like I would in between while I was doing a combo, I'd like press square a few times to see like
try and get stuns or whatever.
Yeah,
It definitely screws up the momentum of certain enemies when they get into like a rhythm and they're coming at you. Like I needed to like refresh here. He's
like
good.
hit him with a shock grenade or not grenade. Arrow, shock arrow.
I used the wolf summon that he had.
Yeah, that was cool too.
I mainly went with that one. Like I tried some of the others, but
the wolf was sick.
Yeah, especially when you upgraded it and you
myself.
got 3. Like you could have 3 wolves by the end of it.
Upgraded it. Yeah. Did you guys like? There was a whole skill tree for him doing melee combat.
There is.
And like choking and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like I rarely saw him do it.
I upgraded that last, and it wasn't.
I don't know. I felt like when I started singing that, he was getting more aggressive.
Yeah.
Like less walking around the outskirts firing in and more, I'm tackling this fucking enemy right in front of you
like
kind of shit.
Yeah, but he wasn't really doing a lot of damage.
No, it's not necessarily...
He still couldn't go toe-to-toe with an enemy.
No, I wouldn't call it damage, but I would call it...
crowd control.
Distraction, but it's like... It could have effective distraction, because by exploring everything, I had a shit ton of fucking money and everything else to upgrade. So by the end of it, like, every single skill, it's upgraded. It's done. And I thought the same... I waited... on his like a little bit and like, you know what, I have nothing else I can put it in. We're building him up because I need to get further into the story to get more shit.
Yeah,
exactly. To Harry's point, the more I started giving it, the more I started noticing him like
he got more aggressive on top of it. Okay.
But I feel like it also kind of varied it throughout the game a little bit too. In the earlier part, he was still like kind of on the outside. And then when he was going through, I don't know if you guys noticed this, when he was going through like his little rebellious period.
Yeah, he comes aggressive there.
No. If you go to hit square to have him fire and whatnot.
Oh yeah, he doesn't.
He's
like, nah.
He refuses.
He's like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you little fucking shit.
Yep.
And I feel like after that, he starts utilizing more of the skills, but I definitely relied on him. You know, or I utilized him a lot, like especially going a little bit further.
Yeah,
I always upgraded my shit first, but I'm first. I'm fucking Kratos, and then I would upgrade his. But I found it worth it.
Yeah.
Cutting down like the cool time in between like him being able to do the arrows. That was like the first thing. It was like because I would get annoyed having to wait for him to do his reload.
Yeah, I maxed that out fast.
Yeah.
I maxed my axe out, and then I maxed his arrows out. Those are like the first 2 trees I maxed.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that pretty much covers it for gameplay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get in a brawl on the back of a dragon and figure out where the fuck we're falling to and go to graphics.
Graphics.
Grafheim.
Grafhelm.
Grafheim, the realm of Grafheim.
Yeah. I didn't have anything to complain about when it came to the landscape. You know, a lot of it did seem kind of recycled, but like they try to like switch up 1 or 2 things to be like, hey, it's a little bit different because you're in this realm now. But, it was like not too far off. But I mean, it's again, it looked good looking at it on the TV. Like I was not upset. And I played the PS4 version on PS5.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the one that was included. And
Yeah, that was part of the PS collection.
yeah. So it was that. Even with that, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with this.
I thought the graphics were amazing, honestly. Like, given the context of them being PS4, like I understand they're not going to be
it's 2018
up to the
game.
same quality. Yeah, it's 2018 game. It's 5 years old. I still think it's it's on par with Last of Us Part 2 and the other high end titles that come from PlayStation in that time and time period. And this is it's decidedly more fictional looking characters because they're not going for the same realism of something like Last of Us, but I think the quality of like the textures and things like that are all there in spades with the same way I felt about Last of Us Part 2.
So this is actually the category that I think I compared the most to Horizon. It just seemed like they grabbed the same artists from Horizon to work on. It just seemed very actually. This might have come out before Horizon Forbidden West, correct?
Before Forbidden West, yeah, definitely.
But after the original Horizon.
Yeah.
Anyway, it just seems like the same artists have worked on both games.
Had the same feel.
Yeah,
I think they're two different.
They're
companies,
2 different
though.
studios. Yeah.
Are
They
they?
are.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, they
This
definitely
is PlayStation's. This is Sony Santa Monica that did this.
Okay. I don't know. It just had that very similar look, and I was like, I could tell this is like a Sony game, just by looking at it. And like the structure of their menu felt very similar to how it was in Horizon, where they have the like the upgrades tiered from top to bottom, and they have the little video clip.
It's no Elden Ring, that's for sure.
It's very true. It's like, oh, I know what I'm doing when I select this thing.
This is actually decipherable, and I could do this. But anyways,
Yeah, you didn't have
When
to
you're
press a
saying
button.
it's not like Elden Ring, you're saying it's like not a 10 out of 10 game.
no, I'm saying that the interface is actually like a more approachable.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the menu wasn't clunky. I will say that.
That's what I mean.
It,
Like,
was kind of
it was a
they
pretty
did-
snappy menu.
Yeah,
pretty snappy.
Yeah.
Nice.
It quickly responded. It was snappy.
Just the look of the game in general. Like, there's just all these different. You should have just
You have a fuzzy on your forehead. It's really
should
bothering
have just smushed it into his forehead.
me. No, I was gonna just.
I am so oily. You do not want to do that.
I noticed that now.
In hindsight.
I don't know. So
Where do you
yes,
go
I
from
saw.
there?
I saw a lot of similarities between the franchises. The look specifically. I do want to say the faces, especially.
That was a long F. Oh,
Faces.
Something specific about Kratos' eyes. If you saw his eye, like they when he was sad, you could like really see it just in his eyes. You didn't.
It was very expressive.
Yes.
It's the only place he shows emotion. Is his eyes.
yeah. Not with his heart or anything else.
Shows it with his axe.
I'm sad. Smack, smack, smack. I'm
what I do when I'm sad, too.
Smack.
I wasn't as impressed with the environments, though. I'll be honest. I think the characters look great. Like I said, the character design and all that jazz. But the environments I did get a little bored with here and there. Like some of the caverns that you went through, like the treasure room just looked like copy and paste of treasure around there was a lot of areas that just looked copy paste.
I kind of get that feel because like so as you talk about it, I'm like like to me it was like kind of the close up environments that were kind of forgettable, and then like the stuff that was all out in the distance, like right that you would see over the horizon, and like all that shit looked fucking sick.
Yeah.
Right. But like the path you were on and like the shrubbery or whatever that you were running past, like easily forgettable.
And how about like when you're in that area with, I guess it's the Death Realm. I forget what.
Helheim.
Is that Helheim?
Yeah.
Like when you're going through your pathways there, it's just like white crags and you see some spirits walking through, but like it's really boring.
Yeah.
Honestly, to look at.
Super bland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's hell.
Yeah. It's not meant to be like, hey, here's a very stimulating environment.
It's their version of hell,
Their hell,
which,
yeah.
which isn't like hellfire and brimstone.
Right. It's Helheim.
It's the most cold place ever, basically.
Well, I was bored with it visually.
Right. Yeah. That left Harry feeling a little chilled.
So that's my take on graphics.
I will say, I think probably one of the coolest like graphic sequences is whenever you're like changing over the realms at the tree.
Yeah.
I always thought those were like really fucking impressive. Just the especially when they were doing the more cinematic ones, like the first couple of times that you did it, where it was like really a huge change.
Yeah.
I thought those were really fucking cool. And
It's a good thing you didn't have to wait for them to load.
yeah. Yeah, there was no loading happening there, so
It's true.
and also
So spoiled.
when Kratos was fighting Baldur and had to like really get his hands dirty, and he's just like fucking covered in blood.
Oh, yeah.
and just like the blood like spray and stuff like that, like all looked really fucking visceral and fucking crazy. Them just being covered in blood and just like it was fucking awesome. Like I thought like the character models specifically were incredibly done.
Yeah.
I did like when you were in Jotunheim.
Yep, you did it.
Hey, I got one. Cool. I'm never going to say it again the rest
Soft
of this podcast.
J.
And a T.
Re-yogging? Yes. But like when you're on like the very top of the peak and you're looking out and you can just see like the corpses of the giants and whatnot. And like
That was wild. That's what I meant about like the seeing this stuff out, right?
Yeah, and you can like still like kind of like you can make out features. It's not just like a blend. It's like I can tell who. I
Like
don't know
that
who
dude
you
is
are.
the size of that fucking mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
He basically is the mountain.
Yeah. I thought the stuff like that was neat, and yet Harry had a good point where it's like the facial expressions. I think just in general, like was very well done. Like you could see, like when Boulder was like going through basically his roller coaster of emotions in the scenes of like learning about like what happened.
Him going crazy, basically.
Yeah.
His final moments of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can see where it goes from like angry to like the sad upset and just like the shift in it, and it was
I can feel, and Kratos just runs up to him. Shh, 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 snap.
my mom's never gonna believe this. Oh, she's gonna know.
Yeah.
Kratos is Wayne Brady, bitch.
Hey, Freya, snap.
Look at me.
Look at me. Your son is dead now.
Vengeance. Oh, okay.
Yeah, bring it. I've ripped bigger gods than you in half.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
Hades. Literally ripped him in half. Good times.
Good times.
He had to kill him though. Not even for her defense. Like that's fine if like
He was going after him. Like,
Yeah,
what,
like-
what does she want? She wasn't winning the argument.
no.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb.
Don't
And
do
she's
it.
Like, I'm vowing vengeance. I bet you she just is over it already.
Leave Boulder alone.
Actually, that brings up a good point. I'm sorry I didn't tie this in the story, but like
Oh well.
Nope.
how much time has to pass for him to forgive her over whatever the hell she did?
It's
Like-
been a long time.
I know
What it
it's
sounds
probably
like.
been like a century or something.
Yeah, I think they said 100 years or something.
I mean,
I don't get it. Like
I think it basically backfired. Like her giving him immortality was also like he couldn't feel anything. So he felt no emotions. like
No
when
physical touch?
Yeah, like when he touched something, he didn't feel it. He was just pressing.
The cold air, never felt it.
Yeah, like never felt the cold air. Like I could honestly see that keeping me pissed until I didn't
Take care of it.
And, yeah, until I felt again.
Yeah.
But then he only felt for a brief few moments before Kratos said, shh, 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 and snapped his neck. Oh my God, I could feel the air in my lungs. Oh no, the air in my lungs.
This feels amazing. This is fantastical. I'm a black belt in Aikido.
Yeah. Is that you, Steven Seagal?
Got 2 today.
Nope, that's Steven Seagal. Oh.
No, he's done in the rope.
He shits on your leg.
All right. Well, let's row our boat right into some audio.
Audio.
Okay, I can't. I would normally just skip it because we missed gameplay. The boat control was awful.
Oh,
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was bad.
Oh my! I triggered Joe. Let that go. I've said it. It's awful. We can move on.
Well, let's row our boat into audio.
You know, speaking of boat too. I'm sorry. Taking it back to story. There's that scene where he's going to get his chain arms. Was that a really long loading scene where you just drift down the river for like 5 minutes?
I'm pretty sure that was just a video.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. You just drift.
Were you rowing?
No, he just sat in the boat and it took him.
Yeah, that happened to me too. When you're on the river and you're going back to your house, right, and you take the boat like basically all the way back to get the chaos chains.
Yeah.
I had no control over that, and I just had to let the river take me.
For like 5 minutes. No lie.
It took so long.
I don't remember if I was rowing or not.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
They had one quick scene where that one
there was
god
there was
showed up
a minute
and
of,
then disappeared.
of like dialogue and interaction.
But most of it was just him sitting silent and you're just cruising through the
Nothing's
woods
happening.
on a boat.
Oh, wait. No, that's where he confronts his old Athena.
Briefly.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not for the full boat ride, though. It is just a moment on the boat where
Yeah.
she appears
I
and
don't
then
remember
disappears.
And then
I
it's
really
like 3 or
honestly-
4 times that length in nothing.
I really don't remember that.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I had to bring that up because that was when you were talking
was
about
very
like
weird.
the seamless loading screens. I was like, oh man,
It's probably
it's
a
going to
big
load a
loading scene.
huge area.
It's installing the chaos blades. It's like, all right, we got to change the textures under these bandages. The bandages are going to move. Okay, and now he's going to be swinging around, loading all these new animations. He's going to be doing these new animations all over the old places, and we're at the boat.
This is
We're
when
the
you
dock.
this is when you would have had to switch to disc 2.
Basically,
Yeah.
just a bunch of chains.
The chain sounded good. Audio.
Yeah.
Audio. I think the voice acting was like really fucking good.
Yeah.
For the gods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Kratos is a boy, but you know, whatever. Like
He's Groot.
yeah.
Yeah.
He says 7 things.
Swear,
I fucked up, boy. Boy.
I wouldn't.
Boy?
The
Watch
voice,
your tone, boy.
to me,
Come, boy.
boy, read this.
Boy, read this.
Boy, write that in the sand. It's like, okay, I got it. That's where I think the voice acting is better than the script they were given. It's like, so that's where I'm not going to put the.
It's a lot of performance.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
The performances are better than the writing, basically.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree
Yeah,
with that.
I agree for sure.
and it's like
Except for Sindri.
Sindri is perfect.
Sindri
yeah,
was
they're-
fucking perfect.
He was written well, and
you can't change that.
yeah. Mimir, I would say, was written well as also. Like he just, you know,
Yeah. Like he had a very like knowledgeable, wise tone. Like whoever like the voice actor they chose for that was like spot
choice,
on.
yeah.
You know, you're gonna have to tell him soon about his godhood, and like you're gonna have to tell him about him. I'm going to cut off your head now. Fair enough.
It's like you're still gonna have to tell him, quiet head.
Yeah, quiet head.
I don't.
Head, where are we going? He refused. He absolutely refused to use anyone's names in this.
I don't think. I don't.
Witch lady, boy, head.
See, the thing is,
Sparkly Thunder Wizard. Dwarf.
yeah.
Fairy dwarf.
Hypochondriac dwarf.
Lightning Wizard.
All of a sudden, not on Kratos.
Yeah, a little bit.
But no.
Come here, I'll wring your neck. And then Carl.
Well, I think the voice actor for Kratos.
Get to the All-Lime.
Just won for
the All-Lime.
he won for Ragnarok at least. I think.
Did he?
Yeah, the voice actor for Kratos, I believe,
Nice.
at like one of the Game Awards. I think he got like voice person.
Yeah, Ragnarok cleared up a lot of them except for Game of the Year, which went to Elden Ring.
Yeah. Because I'm really trying to think of really anything else that would pertain. I mean,
There was like no music in this game. I felt
not
like.
really. I feel like there may have been like some like little subtlety in the background,
some
but it was
battles, but it was pretty quiet.
Yeah, well, you knew
Lot of
like
nature.
that it was mostly in like some of the cutscenes that there would be. That's when some of the music was going, and that was the only time you really knew that something big was going to happen because you'd just be walking on the beach. And I think they filled it more with sound effects than they did music.
Yeah, it was like a lot of ambience.
Yeah.
Because you would still hear like some of the seagulls going around. You would
Yep.
hear like the high pitched chirp of Odin's raven.
You hear like leaves rustling from wind kind of noise.
Yeah.
Like,
So it was more the ambiance than just like music until
You hear the first and last breath coming out of Baldur's mouth.
yeah, just
Kratos choked him to death.
the crack of his neck. They made that very apparent.
They did. They did. That must have been a really, really big fucking strip of celery. that they
Yeah.
just cracked.
A lot of Foley work going.
A lot
into
of
that
Foley
one.
work, yeah.
Although at the same point, you've waited for how many hours for this to happen, and then it finally happens. I'm like, I've killed you 4 times.
I want you to split this stalk of celery with a kendo stick. Really get all the cracking.
Can you take this
Surround
really
it
thick
with bubble wrap.
Can you take this thick turkey bone leg and 2 pliers and then just like snap it in half a little bit? That's what we're going for. Yeah, that nailed
Perfect.
it. Yeah.
Just turn up the treble a little bit.
I feel like somebody just put out like a sounds behind the game like thing. I think it might have been on IGN or something.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
I'm going to see if I can find it
Cool.
this weekend.
Can I get in that line of work? Probably have a lot more. Make this sound cool. I just hit stuff together and see if I can. Make
I've seen
noises.
people do those before.
The Foley work stuff, yeah.
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 And it's so
interesting.
simple stuff.
It's
It
wild,
is.
yeah.
But it's coming up with the idea to do it that way that's what
That's the
gets
kick.
you paid.
And being able to time it all.
Yeah.
Because you're given a video and they're like, do the whole scene. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think it would be so much easier to just cut the clip of that specific sound effect and just, you know what I mean? Like, do it like in an editing process. Like,
Well, yeah, they still have to make the sound effect, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, man, I hope that can.
I hope
Leave it in.
if it does, yeah. If that picks up, I'm leaving that in.
Told you my stomach.
Audio.
Yeah. Yeah. Audio. It's perfect.
It's been my whole day.
It's perfect, Jerry. Oh wait, not that character.
Steve, you're a character.
Oh,
Side quest Steve.
Side quest Steve.
Goddamn right.
That happened.
So let's.
Go
No,
on the
I'm
side
saving
quest.
that one.
Save that one.
No, don't worry.
What's there?
All of your
He's gonna forget
transitions
it.
have baffled me so far tonight.
Himalayan throat singing. Transition to final score. Ready to go.
Final score. You mean
I get to talk like that snake.
Yeah, exactly.
our way into final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Perfect.
I loved how like they only had subtitles though for Mimir when he was speaking it.
and then the subtitles for the world server were like Varum Vaza. Like it's like, oh god.
I love how they even threw it. It wasn't even necessary. They're like, oh, I think I accidentally said that you were buddies with Odin, and that he hated Odin.
He was like, "Ah."
Oh man.
Yeah. Oops. Like, it's just like
I'm a little rusty on my.
Yeah. You'll
don't-
have to play the horn, and instead of Kratos doing it, he just chants.
He's got no lungs.
Yeah. How's he doing that?
Oh my God, Clark, get it together.
All right, Joe, why don't you start us off with final thoughts?
Oh man, I wish there was no chaos chains.
Okay.
That's your final thoughts?
Holy fuck!
I loved the game until I got to the chaos chains, and I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is the combat." Because
I don't know how that made it worse.
It's a totally different combat style, and that's the part that I hated about the other 3 games. I hated the swinging of the blades. Felt like it was just like, okay, AOE clear, right? And the axe was so different, and it felt so refreshing, and I just really enjoyed it. And then the chaos chains came back, and I was like, bah.
I forgot to mention this, and dude, pulling them to you with like the scorpion pull was awesome.
That was
I mean,
very
yeah,
useful.
when I used the chaos change, yeah, that's a cool move, but like, I didn't like the rest of them.
That's fair.
I had a hard time going back to the axe once I got the chains.
I was like, oh, these are dope.
All right, Clarkman.
Quite honestly, I was completely blown away with the game. I immediately added Ragnarok to my wish list. Like I mentioned already, I'm going to wait for it to go on sale, but...
On Steam?
No.
I mean, you said wish list. Does PlayStation have a wish list?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then you
didn't
get
know that.
notifications when everything goes on sale. That's what I do. That's how I notify you guys about podcast games coming up.
Sweet.
I get the notification on my phone, and I'm like, oh, hey.
All right. By the way,
Yeah.
good to know.
Like that upcoming game, I don't know if anyone saw that. I know you responded to it, but I don't know if either of you responded
Yeah,
to
I
it.
already bought that like last month, so I missed out.
Jeez.
Oh well.
Anyway, yeah, I think it's honestly a fantastic game. It's a fantastic follow-up to a series that definitely needed a refresh after 3. It needed this kind of treatment for the game to continue on, so I welcomed it.
Awesome, Mr. Harry.
Yeah. So a lot of times I do, like I know every like generation or so they revamp games. I mean, we saw it with Resident Evil, like every like 3 or 4 games, they change the complete style of it. A lot of times that usually bothers me. It changes the core of that typical franchise. Although I think this is vastly superior to the original one that I played. Like I said before, I had a bad taste of the original ones. It just did not captivate me. But this was a lot more interesting. I do think a lot of the writing was a little sloppy, and the tone was kind of like all over the place with this game. Like there was comedic moments, but there was also your very dramatic moments. And they took away from each other. Like the funny moments would get like cut.
Sometimes they were too close.
They were, and I think so that kind of complaint. I guess the problem is like more so the pacing, I guess, or just not knowing what it is as a game 100%. Like maybe they just didn't fully understand what they were doing until it was too late. But I did enjoy the game overall. I will say I think the combat was a lot of fun. I think the game looked pretty good. I think the audio was pretty good. And like I said before, the story is up and down. But overall, I enjoyed this game. If I had to do a side-by-side comparison, though, I think I prefer Horizon.
Okay. That's fair to bring that up again, since there was a lot of
at least for
similarities
me.
between them.
I really put these franchises in the same basket. I just saw so many similarities.
Yeah.
Similarities.
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 Similarheim.
Everybody else has done it tonight. That's mine.
Some salamander daddies.
Yep. All of them in my pants.
Yeah, hot. For me,
Apple's gonna shut us down again.
not again.
Not again.
Yeah,
God.
I had a lot of fun with this game, and I did not expect to get as into it as I did, like first, by first suggesting it and going down that path. There was enough story. I feel like that could have been better done but it is what it is, and that's where at least we'll go back again to saying like the voice acting I think really helped pepped up a less than desirable script overall. I really think it only took Mimir to kind of bring that together. I'm always happy to make an appearance of SideQuest Steve, because
nice.
Those are just my type of games, and being more open world-ish and just being able to do a bunch of shit before, still continue on the main quest. And, a couple side characters like with Brock and Sindri just added some nice spice to it. So I was very, very happy to, bring it to the table and finally get to play this. And then and kind of with Clark, it's like just waiting for Ragnarok to go on sale. It's going to happen all over again. I hope they follow the same formula with that game.
Something tells me it's going to come up on the podcast.
Maybe. All right. So with that, gentlemen, after our own journey of this podcast, let's make our way to the peak of the highest mountain of all 9 realms, to the score.
The score.
Where's that at?
Jotunheim.
Yep.
There you go.
Thanks for letting me go out on a win, Joe.
Yep.
But you were just hoping I failed. Fuck you.
No.
No.
That doesn't sound like me at all.
No. You're always very supportive and not neglective. And
Just call me Bra.
get the fuck out.
I call him bro because he only supports dudes.
Dude's nuts. I'll go first with my score. I'm going to give this a B+.
I'm so sorry. You need to say that again. I don't know why it fucking made that noise. It never does.
So I'm going to leave that one in. That's even more fun. They don't know what just made the noise. And anything you try to describe it as, I'm going to cut that anyway. But yeah, a B+. I think if the written dialogue was a little bit better, that would have bumped it up into the A categories. But that's the only thing for me drawing it down, because everything else was fucking stellar.
Cool.
Can I do mine before my phone dies?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to give it a 7.0, which is going to tie with South Park Stick of Truth, Silent Hill 3, Uncharted 4.
That's a good Harry score.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent Harry score.
Yeah.
All right, Clark?
I think this is a buy. Most people on PlayStation are getting this for free as is right now. For a couple more months.
Yeah.
That goes away soon.
That goes away, I believe, in the beginning of May. I think it's like May 9th or something that the PS collection is going away. So at least do yourself a favor, add it to your library, because you will be able to download it afterwards, but it has to be in your library. Otherwise, option's gone.
But if you miss that and you're listening to this a year from now, I think it's a buy. I think it's worth picking up.
Yeah.
I paid full price for it when it came out, and I'm still happy with that purchase from way back when. So
there you go. I think that speaks a good bit right there. All right, Mr. Joe.
I'm going to give this an 83, which kind of puts it right between Uncharted and Horizon.
Is Uncharted higher or Horizon higher?
Horizon is higher.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us with this tonight. And big thank you to all of our Patreon donors. Please make sure to check us out on our Patreon to help support the show, because everything goes right into the show.
If we can get 6 more people at $1 a month, you will help sustain the show inevitably.
Yeah, because that's basically the hosting fees. And that's really, other than the personal money we put out for these games every time when we have to. There's
a lot of games y'all own anyway.
Yeah, that's also fair. All right, so join us in 2 weeks for another Mubbers, and until then, I love you guys.
Stay sexy.
Stay lovely.
Stay safe.
Wiener time.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on social media and all streaming platforms at Superfun Podcast for more episodes. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend about us and consider becoming a Patreon member for more exclusive content.